everybody, we're here with Jason Berkeley of Falls Village, Connecticut. He's racing this weekend in the Super GT class of Trans Am in the Falls Village Inn Chevrolet Corvette. Hey Jason, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Doing wonderful. Thanks for spending some time with us today. Can you tell us about this weekend, your car, and when you're racing?
Yeah, very, very happy to. So I've been coming up here since I was a kid, so it's really exciting to have Trans Am back at Lime Rock on Memorial Day weekend. It's kind of a classic weekend, and it's great to have it back up here. The car that we're racing, the Falls Village Inn Chevrolet Corvette, is a C6 Corvette that we won the championship with in what was then called TA3. Trans Am renamed the class Super GT this year in 2014. We were hoping to run the whole season this year, but the car unfortunately had a testing fire in the fall, so this is actually the first race we're making this year. So we're excited to be coming back to our home track as the first race of the year. We've been testing here the last few weeks, so the car's in good shape, we're in good shape. The race and qualifying and the race are both on Monday. Qualifying in the morning, race just after lunch, and we're on track on Saturday for a test session and for practice as well. So everyone should definitely come out Saturday and Monday for sure.
You had mentioned that Lime Rock Park is your home track. Can you tell us a little bit more about your familiarity with Lime Rock, the track itself?
Sure. I guess my familiarity started when I was a kid, like so many people, I guess, coming up here, mostly on Memorial Day weekend with my dad and my brother to watch what was then, you know, pretty epic Trans Am racing and so with the prototypes and the GTP cars and some pretty cool stuff. And I think that's part of what hooks any kid into getting excited about cars and racing. You know, more recently, when Trans Am raced here in 2014, I won the TA3 race here. And the last Trans Am race in 2015 here, finished on the last step on the podium in third. More recently to that, I'm a member of the Lime Rock Drivers Club, live 4 miles away, so get quite a bit of track time here in a couple of different cars, and just love coming here. It's part of being home.
For those people that haven't been here before, our fans that might want to come this weekend to see you race, can you give them a little insight on what they will expect here at the park?
Sure. So one of the things that makes this place so unique is that there's no formal seating. There's no bleachers, no benches. You've got this beautiful natural park-like surrounding with hills that are just great to watch. So you can sit on the side of a hill, sit in the grass, bring a blanket, bring a lawn chair, and just in this beautiful setting watch some of the coolest cars and the best racing in the country, which is just awesome. And there's lots of good food, lots of good people. The paddock is a very open environment. The teams, the drivers are all happy to talk to you, tell you about the cars, tell you about the racing. So it's a very fan-friendly place and experience. And people, if you're thinking about coming, should definitely come down because it's just, again, it's a very unique, natural setting to watch a race, very different from most other places. Just a great place to come.
Well, we're so excited that you, our local driver, will be racing on Monday. We'll be looking for a win from you, and good luck.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Anyone else have any questions?
What are the differences in the 3 Trans Am classes?
Sure.
And the second question is, where is your car prepared?
So the 3 Trans Am classes are all pretty different. So they're the big TA cars, which are the traditional, very high horsepower, very light, very wide tube frame cars, silhouette racers. Those cars are putting out, you know, more than 800 horsepower, and they're pretty impressive, and they are very similar to the cars that people think of the what I'll call the last golden age of Trans Am. When you look at the cars of the late 80s into the 90s, very similar in terms of concept. TA2 is also a tube frame silhouette racer based class, a much tighter set of rules in terms of trying to control costs a little bit, and that I think has generated a wildly successful class with a lot of very good competition, some fantastic, true professional drivers coming into that class the last few years, and very strong fields with a lot of good racing. Super GT is a production-based class. That's what I'm racing in. And in Super GT, there's a very varied mix of hardware, which is a lot different than the other two classes. So you've got Corvettes, Porsches, Vipers, BMWs, a lot of cars that you'll see on the street that I think a lot of enthusiasts can certainly relate to. So for fans to come and see a car that looks like the car they drive every day, or a car that they see on the street that they really love, it's a different kind of class than the other ones, but also very, very fast. And lap times, I think you're going to see pole and Super GT this weekend probably dip down into the 53s, which for a production-based class like that is pretty fast. So we're hoping to get down into those kind of times. I think in the TA1 cars, they're probably going to be high 49s, low 50s. TA2 cars are probably going to be upper 52s, lower 53s. So I think that's kind of where the performance differences will shake out between them. And I'm sorry, the second
Where was
question
your car prepared?
So my car's been prepared at my crew chief shop, which is out in Redmond, Ohio. It's been prepared out there for a number of years. The car was originally built out there. It spends a lot of time out here and stays at my place in Falls Village. And then my crew chief typically comes out, does the work on it here. But for more major things like rebuilding it after the car, had the fire in testing late last year, it goes back out there. Questions? Yes?
Jason, thanks for talking about the natural setting, but over the years, some of the world's greatest drivers, Sterling Moss included, have said there's something that is special about this little 1.5 miles.
Yes, very much so.
Can you just talk a little bit about the actual racetrack and
Sure.
what is the magic about here?
I think that when you look at a lot of different racetracks, right, beyond, there's the setting, which I mentioned before, but when you talk about the track itself, a lot of courses they don't flow with the natural terrain. There's a lot of very cookie cutter 90-degree corners, things which, as I've said to people, there's not a single racetrack I've ever been on that I can say isn't fun to some degree. I mean, if you're not having fun driving a 500 horsepower car on a racetrack, there's something wrong with you. But this place, the track flows with the terrain. So there's not a lot of what you would see cookie cutter corners in other places. Corners like the uphill and the downhill are really unique, that flow with the terrain. And there's a rhythm when you drive this place that you don't find in a lot of other spots. So there's not real long straights here for you to rest and catch your breath or anything, but you almost don't notice that because you get into such a rhythm with the way this track flows that you're just clicking off lap after lap and just really enjoying it.
Great, thank you.
And I just want to mention too that the improvements that have been made to this facility over the last few years have been amazing, and it is, the track's beauty just continues to evolve, and the changes that have been made just continue to enhance the track itself, and the facility itself just continues to improve. And just as someone who's local up here, I just can't say enough about expressing my appreciation for what this track has done to this part of the state of Connecticut, to the northwest corner. It's not just an economic engine, but it's also a place where people can come with their families on the 4th of July, and all of these improvements continue to add, not just for race weekends like this, but for other events here that the track hosts.
Thanks, Jason.
You're welcome. Thank you guys. Everyone be sure to come out.
Hey, have fun. Go
Thank you.
fast.